Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Marcos Luis here. OneMicNite talking today. I'm here with your favorite co-host, is Shane Mark Tull. We are talking politics. So if you want to talk some politics with us, make sure you hop in the chat room, write down what you're thinking, get into it. We got a lot to talk about. This is OneMicNite. You're watching OneMicNite Talk, coming at you right now.
In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before. We will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable. America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous. We will be proud. We will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely. We will live proudly, we will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you. President Trump.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OneMicNite, the podcast that brings you stories of artists and people on their journey, helping to guide, answer questions, and motivate you in life and the business. Today, I'm bringing you OneMicNite Talk. You already know who I am. It's Marcos Luis, and I'm so happy to be with you here. This is season 6 of OneMicNite podcast, and thank you all for being along with me on this journey. If you haven't already, and if you're new to the podcast, please make sure you drop down right this minute and subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching it on YouTube, make sure you click the bell because you don't want to miss an episode. Today, we're OneMicNite talking, of course, and I'm here with your favorite co-host, and he's definitely my favorite co-host. He's the award-winning licensed clinical psychotherapist and author of the book, The Mental Health Pandemic. It's Shane Mark Tull. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how are you? Happy Black History Month.
You know it.
Happy February. We survived January.
We sure did, and what a January it was. So first, before we get started, I want to do a temperature check. We got to know how we're feeling today. How are we feeling in this room? How are you feeling?
I am grateful.
There you go.
Yes.
As am I. And we want everybody out there to be grateful, but we got some topics to talk about today, and we hope we're going to get you on board. It's going to be politics. We're going to talk about the tariff situation that's happening today. We're going to talk about some executive decisions that our president has made, along with a bevy of other topics. So stick around. Make sure you wait till the end. All right. Let's get it in. All right. So today is the first day of the tariffs that our President 47 has instituted. It affects countries like Canada, Mexico, Colombia, and all the places that we do business with. What's going on?
Brother, I wish they would explain that tariff is a tax.
Absolutely.
And if you do that to Mexico and Canada, who are our biggest trading partners, you are creating a trade war.
A trade war. Exactly.
And who will suffer? We are the ones that are going to suffer. If the tax, if
Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Ce soir, j'annonce la réplique du Canada.
if the tariff is instituted, they're going to send it back to us. So the prices of everything will go up. He's creating a global inflation.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. And the funny thing is, one of the things he said was that he was going to lower inflation. But in effect,
Mhm.
what's happening is the exact opposite.
Of course,
And who is going to pay for it? It's the consumers that will pay for this
correct.
tariff.
Yes.
So by him taxing these countries, Canada, which is probably a 25% uh,
25.
tariff,
Yep.
Mexico 10%, Colombia 10%,
Mexico is 25.
25, I stand corrected,
China is 10%.
10%, then it
Yeah.
is the consumer that will
So
pay for the tariff.
we get oil from China.
We
Oil price,
absolutely do. Hmm.
prices are going to go up. So your car, to fill up your car is going to be more. He said the prices of eggs and everything is going to come down on day one, and they continue to escalate. The stock market crashed early in the week, and it kind of rebound, but it's still very shaky and uncertain. And so everything he has done for the week, he just created trade wars and culture wars. He has not done anything about the economy, and this is what people say they vote for.
Right,
So I expect we're going to have lots of buyer's remorse.
right. And here's the problem I have. The problem I have is that if you want to deconstruct the government, if you want to lower inflation, if you want to do these things, you can't do it immediately. There has to be some sort of slow process that does this while you're reinstituting a better way. I have no problem with, doing things a new way, trying new things in our government because maybe this thing didn't work, but you
Oh,
can't do it with an executive decision where it's deconstructed immediately and there's nothing in replacement.
and people may not be aware of this because I don't know how much Americans are familiar with foreign aid. That in that executive order he signed on Monday, it halted the whole world because foreign aid is what we give, is that PEPFAR money that goes out to countries in Africa and other parts of the world to provide HIV medication,
Yes.
hormone therapy, water irrigation, all this stuff. So I was getting a call from my friends in Guyana, Ghana, Nigeria that are affected. So U.S. aid cannot do anything for the next 90 days. Now let's think about this. If this stays for the next 90 days, that means people are not getting their HIV medication for 90 days. And in that time, they can come resistant to that drug. So when they
Absolutely.
start back, they can get sick. Well, they'll probably start getting sick before that, and people will start dying because when they become resistant to that drug, we have to find other drugs to put them on to see if that will work. And it may take 2 or 3 drugs before we find the right one for them. Imagine the chaos in those healthcare systems to manage and take care of these people that are already living in very substandard conditions and situations.
Right.
So I think this is very intentional.
Absolutely. And
Very intense.
it creates a, like you said, it creates a sense of chaos and desperation. A lot of psychological things go along with it. You can't get your medication, even, whether it's HIV, whether it's heart medicine, whether it's any kind of medicine that we're giving aid for, or people can't receive the aid that they need with the medication. What does that make you feel like? So do we become a country where we have no morals also?
Well,
No empathy, and
it's America First agenda.
right,
But in that, he's messing up the world because all these programs are stuck, cannot provide any services for people that are in dire need of these services. And this is around the world. So that the whole HIV epidemic is going to become real again.
right.
And your
When it
body resistant to these things are the drugs that can counter that. And by the time you get the drugs, all these people are going to be very, very, there'll be a lot of sick people around the world. And the epidemic is going to, it's already on the rise, if you can believe that.
right,
Um, this is just going to be, it's already terrible. And what the pandemic is it caused here in terms of not knowing whether people are going to get federal funding and if that stopped right away. In the state that the judge put just says that, hey, you can't do anything. But we're not sure if that applies to the foreign aid part. That may have just applied to the federal programs that affect here. So here we are.
right. Which then brings me to some of the executive decisions he'd made this week. So we're in the first 7 days of the presidency. And
Mhm.
as he said, and those of you know, he said that he was going to issue a flurry of executive decisions.
Mhm.
He told you up front, and
Yes,
look
he
at what's
did.
happening. I'm
He
going to read off
telegraphed.
some of the, yeah, I'm going to read off some of the decisions he made with these executive decisions. So some may be good, but a majority of them affect us in a detrimental way, in my opinion. Um, Ending the weaponization of federal government. Okay, so this order seeks to hold the previous administration accountable for the alleged weaponization of the federal government,
Yeah.
which is what he said. He was going to get revenge on people who sought after his felonious activity.
Mhm.
And I will say
Several.
that. Yep. He's going to restore accountability to policy influencing positions with the federal workforce. Hmm.
Mhm.
So he's going to make people responsible for their jobs, which means implementing people in places that are who only adhere to his agenda. If you
Right.
don't fall in line, you're getting out of here.
Well, he's over by Friday. He already tells folks that you fall in line, you retire, or we're going to fire you. So he's dismantling the institutional structure of the DOJ, the DOD, Treasury, IRS. Change is okay, but you still need people that have that institutional knowledge.
Absolutely.
And sending all of those people home. And let's be fair. A lot of the people that work in the government in DC are black folks.
Right.
So they're going to be the ones being sent home. You're dismantling a whole workforce for no reason.
Right.
And then talking about DEI, which once again a culture war.
Absolutely. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. Yeah. Saying that he wants to get people in there based on merit. Okay. So,
Never
one, who's saying that these people aren't in there based on merit? That's number one.
correct.
you know, uh, people of color are definitely merit bearing. So, yeah, you can't say that. And who is that going to affect the most?
Yeah.
If you don't think that white women are going to be affected, they would
Yeah,
probably
but
rather work with white women than they'd rather work with the other marginalized people. So they've implemented those people in there, you know. Um, so
if you look at the DEI structure, the biggest benefactors of DEI and affirmative action are white women.
absolutely, absolutely,
Black folks come like number 7 on the list. But when we build this DEI anti-woke thing. When he spills it, it says, here's another way of saying black people.
Right. Yes.
That's the image he wants people to conjure up in their head. Black people, they're incompetent. They're not smart enough, like you said. They're physically and psychologically inept. Okay, when you're the president after a major national tragedy, you blame your previous administration, and you said this is DEI. When the reporters in the room challenge you, it's like, well, do you have any facts? Do you have any? Where are you getting this information?
Where's the evidence to back it up?
He said he has common sense.
Right.
And we all know common sense is not common.
Right. There you go.
So, I mean,
when you make huge accusations like that, you have to have the evidence. There's no data, proving any of that. And then he makes sly jokes indicating that handicapped people and people of color are manning, the aviation department and the, control towers. And for those of you who are listening, we're talking about the air tragedies that have happened here in the last 2 days. We've had two major air tragedies, one of which involved a military plane and a commercial plane, which I think 67 lives were lost, if not more. At this current point, only 41 of the bodies victims have been recovered. And they've just recovered today 2 of the black boxes, the one from the military helicopter that crashed, as well as the commercial flight. And they're having problems getting the data out of it to find out exactly what happened, with those.
They literally have to move the fuselage to get to these bodies. So
right.
The poor souls are still out there in the cold river. And you, instead of declaring a day of mourning and asking Americans to come together and support these families, you turn to DEI and pitch a culture war.
Special talent and a very special genius to be able to do it. Targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. The FAA's website states they include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism all qualify for the position of a controller of airplanes pouring into our country, pouring into a little spot, a little dot on the map, a little runway. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan. Think of that. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan, which says diversity is integral to achieving FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel. I don't think so. I think it's just the opposite. The FAA website shows that the agency's guidance on diversity hiring were last updated on March 23rd of 22. They wanted to make it even more so. And then I came in, and I assume maybe this is the reason. The FAA, which is overseen by Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a real winner. That guy's a real winner. Do you know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. He's just got a good line of bullshit. The Department of Transportation is government agency charged with regulating civil aviation. Well, he runs it, 45,000 people, and he's run it right into the ground with his diversity. So I had to say that it's terrible. Then it's a group within the FAA, another story, determined that the workforce was too white, that they had concerted efforts to get the administration to change that and to change it immediately. This was in the Obama administration just prior to my getting there. And we took care of African Americans, Hispanic Americans. We took care of everybody at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's one of the reasons I won. But they actually came out with a directive, too white. And we want the people that are competent.
It is to the point that we suspect that one of the pilots in the military aircraft is a woman, and her family's begging the DOD not to release her name because she would become the
Fearful.
poster why the plane went down. And
Absolutely.
God forbid she's a black woman.
Right. And here's the
Okay.
point. The point is that this man has the power, the most powerful man in the world, to sway audiences in many different ways, sway the
Mhm.
people, sway the public in many different ways. And I've said that actually was a Freudian slip, the audience, because that's what he's doing. He's doing some sort of
Yeah.
theatrical,
Yes, yes.
performance. So
Drama
he
can drama can flop.
exactly, the apprentice. So, he has the power and he is the most powerful man in the world. So, what is he leading with is our question. Is this the man that we wanted to represent us? And
Apparently, there is. We put him in.
we put him
I think
in, right?
the last election was not about Donald Trump's character or lack thereof. It really is about our character or lack thereof.
Right.
That we found it fit. Half the country, a little more than half, found it fit to re-elect him.
And we have to
Knowing,
remember, he won
no,
the popular vote, right?
and he didn't win a landslide. He won
Right.
by 1 something% margin.
Right.
So let's be clear. There are 70 something million people that did not vote for him. Those
Exactly.
people voices should be heard and should be respected. And it annoys me when um, there are pundits out there, like this guy Scott Jennings, who's out on CNN all the time, really trying to normalize Trump's behavior, even if the whole of America, if 90% of this country had voted for Trump, it does not make what he's doing right.
Absolutely doesn't.
I'm very clear about that.
And even now, we're seeing that a lot of people are backpedaling on their decision because I feel like a lot of people either weren't informed, didn't really get informed on what he said he was going to do and take this man at his face value.
Hispanic man.
Hispanic
Hispanic
man?
man
Hmm.
for him because their thing is he's going to put more money in their pocket, going to give them opportunity to open more business, and they did not think he was talking to them when he said we are going to deport immigrants.
Right.
Did not this, and I don't know how they didn't
Well,
get that.
there's a whole psychology behind it too, and I think that a lot of Hispanic people in this country have fallen into a category where the Hispanic people, the Latinos that have come to the country, are now in the same category as the ones who are legal citizens and naturalized here. So they don't want the rest of the country looking at them the same way. They want to distance themselves from being the
So,
immigrants, so they in
so
turn voted to have these people taken
yeah,
away. That's what the
which
psychology is behind it all.
turns out to be their family members,
Some
and
turned out
some
to
of
be their family. Absolutely. They didn't know
you're
how
going to get,
far he was going to go with it. They didn't know
but
that he. Mhm.
I don't know why they're surprised, Luis. Because my thing is, the only thing I'm surprised about is why are people surprised?
Yep, that's
The
it.
only thing I'm
That's
surprised about
it.
why are people surprised because he said it more than once. He telegraphed it. He said it. Project 2025. All of these things were in that book, and the Democrats had it, and they talked about it, but he just didn't believe it. Now, the architect of that manifesto is going to be in a very prominent place.
Absolutely. And you just hit the nail right on the head. Even if he said he wasn't going to do it, look at what he's doing now. Look at what he's doing. He's implementing these people, like he said he would, into the positions that will follow what he wants them to do. They will
And
administer. Mhm.
all the lawyers, the DOJ lawyers that work on his case, he's firing them. And it's just, he don't, because they work on his case where he committed a crime, he don't believe he can trust them. The DOJ does not work for the president.
Right.
They work for the people,
For the people, for the Constitution.
for the
They
Constitution.
work for the Constitution.
Listen, this is how democracy fails. It's a
Absolutely.
very fragile thing. And 4 years ago, people were saying, "Oh, even if he gets back in, there are all these guardrails that he's not going to be able to do this, he's not going to be able to do that." The Supreme Court has given him power.
Absolutely. And
All of
that's
these
it. In the last
are
8 years.
that yet. All these cases are going to end up back in the Supreme Court,
Mhm.
and they're going to give him more power.
Right.
And
In the last 8 years, he's dodged the bullet. He's dodged
that's that.
every single bullet. Maybe just like a little graze, well, literally and figuratively. How about that?
Yep,
But
yep.
he's dodged the bullet, and he's escaped from being in jail. He's any time. Maybe he's had to pay a few financial penalties, but he's dodged the bullet throughout it all.
And he's come out stronger,
He has, and he's implemented people in places that will secure his position.
of course, like the
Right,
Supreme Court.
right. He's got the Supreme Court, he's got the House, he's got the Senate.
Yes.
And
But the
so,
fall is going to be when he tries to diminish the power of the Supreme Court. But they will be too weak to stand up to him. You see what happened in Israel? Netanyahu wanted to be the first thing he went off after was the judiciary because he
judicial,
knew they were the most powerful. They could hold him accountable.
right,
But once he was able to split them of their powers, he knew, hey, this is a free for all. I can run this.
right.
This is the model Trump is going for.
This is exactly what he's planning. He's trying to
We're
deconstruct our
losing it.
government, yes, and have full authority to the president, which is what we do not want because there should not be one person in complete power. Otherwise, it's a king, it's a dictator.
Yes, but he won't.
We're not
That's
right.
what he wants.
Making
And
America great is taking it back to 1790, let me tell you.
it's white, male, cisgender, middle class. Because he don't care anything about white poor people.
Right.
He really doesn't care about the word, though.
Those are
The
the other
word,
people that voted for him. The
but those are
Hispanic
the.
men and the rural America. And look at
Mhm.
what's happening now. How about the day when he rescinded all the federal funds? People,
What?
where were you then?
All of that stuff. This is money that they need.
Yep,
Okay, and if
absolutely.
we send those funds, and the parents or grandparents end up in the hospital, and the hospital can't charge Medicaid or Medicare, and they're going to have to Obamacare. Obamacare is the one that has saved a lot of them, but they don't know. But they are so, I think, so full of hate that they would prefer losing Obamacare
Right.
just
And no,
to
there's no one that can tell me that what Obama did for the healthcare isn't better than what we had before for the
thank you.
for the average person. You know what I mean? For the middle class, for lower class, for all those people. Because
Yeah,
it included a way for people to get health care and what we said before in many of the episodes, preventive health care.
prevent, correct,
Preventive health
correct,
care, which is a
prevent,
leading cause.
and all these community-based programs that people can go to health centers right in their community to get the help they need.
Right.
And it has been effective, and it should continue. I don't think that we should resist a great idea because we didn't come up with
Right. Yes.
it. And I think this is what happens in third world countries. It's happening here. Somebody can come with a great idea, but because your party's not in power, no one wants to support it because we didn't come up with it. It's gonna make them look better. They had an immigration bill, and Trump is the one that killed it before the election. He said, "Don't
Of course.
vote for it
Of
because
course.
it's going to be better for him." And look where we are. Because really, this is what he really wanted to do, was to really deport folks and do it in the most inhumane way, and having cameras up in people's faces. And what is Dr. Phil doing up in there? Okay,
Right.
this is it's it's inhumane. It's inhumane. And my
It's
point is, they're saying these people are taking our jobs, or these people are here on welfare and don't have any jobs. Why are they going to their jobs to arrest them? They're doing the jobs that we don't want to do. There are
Absolutely.
there are great fields in California that is rotting in and just dying out because there are no migrant workers to go pick it because they're scared to go because they're scared they are going to be harassed and arrested.
Right.
So you're messing up our workforce.
A
There
whole
is a
workforce.
need, definitely give them work permit, make them work, and let's talk about the fact that there are many immigrants here that has been here for 20, 30 years, paying taxes, paying into Social Security, paying into our economy, and they can't get anything. Let's think about
Right.
that.
Doing
Okay,
things better than some of the Americans are here doing. Absolutely. And then, you're saying that you're doing a ice sweep of people and you're only taking the criminals, the known criminals, but let's grab a couple of other people along the way, and then we're going to send them all back to Colombia in a military plane and shackled up and, treat them like cattle.
yep.
President of Colombia said, no, you're not. You're going to take them back and we're going to send our own plane to pick them up. You treat our people like humane with humanity.
As, they,
Humanity.
as you should.
Right.
As you should. And this is what bothers me because it is this land belongs to the native people. White folks here come here and take advantage of those native people, and they enslave people that look like you and I, and brought us here to build this country.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
black and brown.
Hmm.
When COVID happened, it was the immigrant community that saved America. When we were stuck in our house, they were out there picking up our groceries, bringing us stuff, taking care of us,
Speak on it.
and now
There you
we
go.
support them.
Right.
Okay, while they were working, while a lot of us were home getting money from the federal and state government,
Hmm.
rightfully so,
Right.
they were out there working minimum wage jobs and taking care of this country. They saved this country. At least we can do is to be humane and give them a pathway to businesses. And there's enough work for them.
Right.
There's enough work for them. So what they're doing, they're contributing to our economy, and it really impacts in a good way our standard of living. Because they're in our community, they have business, they're shopping, they're taking care of their families, they're contributing to society. The whole thing in Minnesota, but they're eating our dogs. Those people, the Haitian community went there and revived that whole town,
Right.
that needed workers, revived that whole town, brought it back into prosperity, and then was maimed by irresponsible public figures.
Absolutely. And that's the whole thing. We said this earlier. It's the falsehoods and conspiracy theories that this person is perpetuating because he is the most powerful man in the world. And if you say it, people will follow, people will believe. In addition to that, you've got the richest man in the world at your right hand, and
Yep.
every other company in here who wants to be powerful, who want to remain powerful, who want to continue getting funding, who want to continue having platforms, they follow in pursuit and kiss the ring, as everybody says.
So let's talk. How about that for DEI?
Yes, right.
Now that's DEI. Because they're going kissing the
They
ring.
kiss the
And
ring.
I think Trump is the ultimate DEI. His only criteria for you to work for him is that you're committed to carrying out his grievances and revenge. You don't have to be qualified.
Right.
You just got to know that you're committed to carrying out his his needs,
His agenda. Yep.
retribution. That's how about that for DEI?
Right. Yeah. Well, what we have to realize too is that we are a powerful community of people. We have $1 billion in spending power. We can take our business elsewhere. We can create our business. We need to do this stuff. We need to create our own businesses.
Yes.
We need to employ our own people. We need to support it.
Yes.
We are capable of having high quality standards just like everyone else.
What else?
And when we get on board to do this is when we become powerful as well.
And we don't have to buy from Amazon.
Absolutely
All
don't.
those products have their own website, and we can go directly to those websites and buy, and probably it's going to be cheaper.
Right.
You have to take your money. I'm not going to give my money where I'm not wanted or people that look like me are not respected.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
ridiculous.
What would you say is the big hope for us now? Where do we go? What do we do?
I think that I know that we cannot go in silence. I don't know if you saw the video I put out on Monday, where I said we have to be intentional, we
Yes.
have to be strategic, we have to galvanize, and we have to have one voice because that will be the only, and our messaging has to be better, not so much as a reaction to Trump and whatever he says. And even that, I think we need to be better at it because the Democrats, this happened Monday, Wednesday, that's when they come out and make a statement. They should have their talking points ready and have. They need to elect people like AOC, Jasmine Crockett, all those young voices that are very good in social media and could articulate the Democratic message very well. Put them out there. Let them be at every talk show and it really bring home the message in a very real, direct. But if it, I wonder, did we really learn from the election?
Did we? That's the big question. Did we? And what did we learn, if anything?
Thank you.
You
And
know, what did we learn? And what I can say too is I'm going to continue using this platform and I'm going to encourage other people who have a voice and platforms to use it also. We have to continue to spread the word. And as Shane Tull said, galvanize. We have to continue to meet and not only talk about things, but actually make things happen. Listen to Reverend Al Sharpton. Watch the
Mhm.
news. Watch different sources of the news to make your own educated decision about things that are happening in the world. You need to educate yourself. We can get, I know a lot of us get it from social media, but there are other sources of media as well. Get as much information as you can and make it your own. Process it and make your own decision.
But I think that's one of the drawbacks of social media. Is no one's going to read an article in the New York Times that's going to lay out a whole plan, but they are going to look at a 30-minute, a 30-second reel,
Right.
and that's how you're getting your information.
Right.
It's, most of that information is not correct.
Is not correct. And consider that the algorithm plays an important part of what your feed is going to be. So if you choose one person with a point of view, the rest of it's going to probably fall in line with the same thing. You need multiple sources of
Correct.
information, to find out what's going on in this world and how we can make this change. Our democracy is in jeopardy. A
Humanity is separate.
humanity is in jeopardy. Empathy, life. Uh, we're talking about even whatever your religious beliefs uh, are in jeopardy. In terms of empathy and the way you treat people around the world. Is what have we become in this American society? Is the big question.
We need to lead in love because I'm always bothered by when people say the white Christian movement or the national Christian movement. The word Christian, what is that about?
Right. Yeah.
Action, it's about doing good. Is like, what would Jesus do?
Right.
And you can tell me that you are spewing hate in the name of Jesus.
Right. Yeah.
That is not what Jesus is about. So
Right.
these wing Christian evangelical churches that are not only doing damage here, they're going around the world. These the Mormon churches and a lot of these things, They're going out to countries, going into little communities, and starting churches and building communities, and then they start pushing their own agenda, like as I
Yes.
did, like
Right.
just
Right.
in Ghana. Yeah,
Right.
that is that's not what Jesus would do.
Right. Start looking at
Really,
humanity. You said it. It's humanity.
humanity.
Hmm.
Let's with love, and
Love.
you can lead with love and compassion, and still be responsible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure can.
We're not saying no. Nobody wants illegal immigrants here that are killing people and maiming and creating havoc and gangs. Yeah, get them and get them out,
Right.
but do not hold a whole community hostage. In New York,
Absolutely.
they were picking up people.
Right. And
People
certainly,
refuse to go out, refuse to send their children to school.
right.
Imagine the psychological effect
There you
on
go.
children who go to school, and that may think that their friend might be pulled off, and
Right.
you don't see it again. All of these things, it's tearing down our moral fiber, and I really don't want this. And this is what I keep thinking. One of the things we really need to do, we need to stop making what Trump is doing normal.
Yes.
Like it's normal. It's okay. He said he was going to do it, but remember, he won the election. The people are in line step.
Because
No,
what's happening, people are adapting this normalization for their own. And it is now, it does become normal. When you accept that kind of behavior, it makes you make it your own. You're making
yeah,
it your own. And that's not the way of the world.
and when he started his culture wars, like with the trans community, he started this, and people are just harassing trans folks. We need to start standing up for them, and like because if we don't stand up for them, once he gets them, we're going to be next.
We're next.
And
This is
that's thing we got to be conscious about. If we allow him to marginalize and demonize the community and really erase their existence, and he's able to do that effectively, and we stand by and see it, because okay, well, we're not friends and we don't understand that behavior. You don't have to understand humanity or somebody's behavior to know what he's doing is wrong.
I'm going to say this last thing, and it's I saw this on the news right before I got on. He's dismantling all the things that are like Black History Month, MLK Day, Asian Pacific Month. Like you
Yep.
said, it's not just coming after Black people. It's, Latino History Month,
It's not,
everything.
it's not white and male.
Right. LGBT Pride Month, everything. Everything is included in this.
My thing is, let me see how white women are going to respond to this,
There
because
you go.
they just voted for him,
Right.
even though he promised to take away their reproductive rights. They still voted for this.
Right.
So really, let me see what they have to say.
And this is what everyone didn't understand. It wasn't Kamala Harris wasn't just standing on that platform. That was probably top tier, but there were so many other lying things that fall under that umbrella that, like you just said, it's reproductive rights, but then it becomes Black rights, then it becomes Hispanic rights, then it becomes, LGBTQ plus rights, then it just keeps going, Muslim rights.
Yep. And he's gonna just like he just did a strike in Somalia, I think, against ISIS in Somalia. Okay, so you see where he's going with that, right?
Right. It's still going. It's still going.
We have to be vigilant. We have
We
to
definitely
stay.
do.
We got to use our platform and our voices to appeal to the better will of people. I don't want to say things to ruffle people's feather or incite violence. I want just people to be aware and to lead in love and to see that this inhumanity is not American.
Right.
It's not American. We fight for people.
Right.
We don't fight to destroy people.
Where do you stand in terms
So,
of equality? Where do you stand? You know,
yeah,
humanity. So We definitely have to
Equity
go.
doesn't mean I'm taking anything away from anybody, or anybody's taking anything away from me. It means that we're just giving people the opportunity.
Opportunity. Yep. That's
That's
it.
all we need.
That's it.
That's all we need. And we have to remember that still matters. Like, in his last administration, I put on Facebook, when will good men stand up?
Right.
And an older white man responded. He said, they are standing up.
Mm,
I want to see that. I want to feel that. I want to see people vocally coming out. I want to see Republicans coming out and saying, listen, this is wrong. I may be primary, I may lose my seat, but I have to look at my children in their faces.
right.
And I wouldn't be able to tell my grandchildren that I stood up for the right thing.
That's it. We want to get beyond this bipartisan situation. We want to get to what is the right thing. What are you doing morally for humanity, for equality, for the righteousness of man in general, humankind? Let's get to that point. I think we should leave him on that one. Shane Martel, award-winning licensed clinical psychotherapist. Let them know where they can find you and follow you.
Shane Martel on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Shane Martel at gmail.com. So I'm around.
You go. Hit him up on the Gmail.
Second book is about to launch.
Let's go.
But we're going to premiere it right here.
There you go. You got the exclusive. It's coming up.
Yeah.
I thank you. I thank you, my favorite co-host and your favorite co-host, Shane Martel. This is OneMicNite, OneMicNite. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, listen to us, watch us on Spotify and YouTube. My name is Marcos Luis, Marcosluis. Also, make sure you check out my show. Check me out on my Instagram. You'll find the information and Facebook about my upcoming show, which is happening in 2 weeks. It's called Cherry House. It will be on 42nd Street on Theater Row, February 12th through the 16th. Tickets are going fast. So make sure you got yours.
I tried to get tickets and I'm like, ooh. I'll be there.
Thank you. Also, a portion of this podcast is brought to you by Kino Designs. Get your handcrafted jewelry made by S. Kino Designs. We'll see you next time. This is OneMicNite Podcast. This is OneMicNite Talk. I'm Marcos Luis. That's Shane Martel. We'll see you next time. Thank you.